ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यनिजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ ब्रह्माश्रया सत्त्वरजस्तमो गुणात्मिका माया अस्ति ततः आकाशः सम्भूतः आकाशाद् वायुः वायोस्तेजः तेजसः आपः अद्यः पृथिवी. So we have seen that looking at this Jagat, we understand that there is a Maya or Brahman. We call it as a power as such from one standpoint, and in that Brahman, which is, well, this is Ashraya for a Maya, the Maya aspect undergoes a change, and so we call it as a Parinami Upadana Karanam, a material cause that undergoes modification. So definitely the being of Maya is non-separate from Brahman, and therefore Maya is Brahman. Pot is clay, like that. Being of the pot is the being of the clay, the existence of the pot is the existence of the clay, means the existence provided by the clay to the pot. And that is how, same way here also, the existence of Maya is existence of Brahman. So Maya is Brahman, but Brahman is not Maya. That's for sure. That is for, the clay is not the pot. Pot is clay. So, and this is how then, so if Maya is Brahman and Brahman is not Maya, means one is Satyam, one is Mithya. Well, definitely Maya is Mithya and Brahman is Satyam. So this is how, and what is created out of this Maya means, anyway, whatever is created through the Maya, because it's just a transformation of various transformation in forms, different forms, not in terms of the Vastu Bhedaha. Well, there is no difference in terms of material. And therefore, so whatever Maya is Mithya, then whatever it transforms into the whole universe also is Mithya. So, Brahma Satyam, Maya Mithya, or you can say Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya. Same thing. Because Maya itself, which is unmanifest, names and forms, well, transforms into manifest names and forms. Manifest names and form is universe, and therefore if Maya is Mithya, even this Jagat also is Mithya. So this is how we can understand. Now the whole creation has been shown, and I have given you the chart. Please, if you can keep the chart in front, it is good. So I don't know how will you keep because you are seeing in the Zoom, and the chart also may be in the mobile or whatever, I don't know. But if you can keep it in front, it is good. So, tataha akasha sambhutaha, etc., etc. So, you can see in the chart, so this Brahman I mean the Maya with its being in Brahman. And Maya is Sattva Rajas Tamo Guna Atmika. Well, so the Maya with Brahman, you can say that. Maya with Brahman, because Maya is non-separate from Brahman. So Maya with Brahman basically now starts transforming, in which you have to remember Brahman does not undergo any kind of a transformation. Maya transforms, that's for sure. And first transformation is what? Well, so the Maya which has this unmanifest, this all the Sattva Rajas Tamo Guna, well, they manifest now. Manifest in terms of first Akasha. So Akasha, then from Akasha there is a Vayu, from there is Agni, etc. So basically this Panchabhutas, the five basic elements, are the first products, the Karya of Brahman with Maya. And therefore the product is non-separate from Brahman with Maya. In other words, Ishvara. Because basically Brahman with Maya, Brahman plus Maya, we call it as Ishvara. And therefore Ishvara alone manifests in the form of Akasha. Ishvara with the three gunas, well, manifest in the form of Akasha. And so Akasha will have definitely three gunas. And from Akasha definitely, so from that Brahman within Maya is born the Sambhuta. Akasha Sambhuta. Sambhuta means it is born. Akasha here, I mean manifest. Creation is very basically manifestation. And therefore, the Akasha which was there in unmanifest form, now manifest. And Maya alone manifest. Maya Trigunatmika, so Akasha also is Trigunatmika. Trigunatmaka. That is how we have to see. Because there is no change in the Vastu, there is no change in material as such. Only from unmanifest to manifest state. So the Akasha which was there in the unmanifest form, we say it is manifested. And what is manifested? Well, ultimately we should say Ishvara alone manifested, because Maya is basically non-separate from the Ishvara. Maya is non-separate from the Brahman, and Brahman plus Maya is called Ishvara, and therefore Ishvara alone manifests in the form of Akasha. And then, then again they will not tell that now Ishvara alone manifests in the form of Vayu, etc. But we have to understand. So Tataha Akasha Sambhutaha means from that Brahman with Maya, first Akasha is born, from Ishvara Akasha is born, and from Akasha now Akashad Vayu. From that Akasha, air is born, Vayu is born. So we have to understand not from Akasha. Akasha which is Brahman, or Akasha which is Ishvara, alone manifested in the form of Vayu. Please understand this. All the aspects of creation are nothing but the manifestation of Ishvara alone. And otherwise this will become an academic interest, totally academic interest. But if you don't want to make it of academic interest and for your own spiritual progress you want, well, definitely, then you have to see the whole creation as manifestation of Ishvara alone. And then only the Karma Yoga will be possible. Karma Yoga means with an attitude, you do certain karma in the creation. And the creation which is nothing but the manifestation of Ishvara alone, then with that attitude if you do, it becomes Karma Yoga. That's a prayerful attitude, that's offering to the Ishvara, etc. Offering something in the universe which is nothing but Ishvara. And therefore, only for our purpose it will be of interest when you see that every step is nothing but the manifestation of Ishvara, not manifestation of Vayu from Akasha. That's of no use to us basically. So we have to see here that Akasha which is Brahman, so from that Akasha which is Brahman, Vayu is born. So, or from Akasha which is nothing but Ishvara, well, that Vayu is born. And therefore, basically it is Akasha which is in the form of Ishvara. Well, Akasha which is a form of Ishvara, well, that alone manifests into form of Vayu. So, I could not mention every step that is Ishvara, Ishvara, Ishvara like that, but you have to understand. It's a material cause, so ultimately its alone manifestation will be there. I mean, once you start with the gold, then first you make from that biscuit or something, from gold biscuit. If you make a big rods, that is also gold. From that rods, if you make the wires, that also is gold. From wires you make, the rings, that also is gold. So you can understand. So basically, the Brahman with Maya alone, which becomes a material cause. Well, Brahman is Vivarta Upadan Karanam, Akasha is, the Maya is Parinami Upadan Karanam. Ultimately, it is Upadan Karanam. So we have to understand that. Well, Brahman does not undergo a change, that is different issue. But Maya is non-separate from this Brahman. That alone is the material cause, ultimately. So there are no two independent causes, something like that, and in which one remains like this. So this is a material cause, and that material cause basically manifests into various forms, various basic elements first. And so you will see, since the Maya alone manifests in different forms as such, so basically Maya alone, whatever the Trigunatmakam, Maya is Trigunatmika, and therefore Akasha also is Trigunatmakam, Vayu also is Trigunatmakam, etc. So every step Brahman is right there, right? Because Maya is non-separate from Brahman. And so we say, it's very easy to say Ishvara alone manifests in the form of Akasha, Ishvara alone manifests in the form of Ishvara, Ishvara who is in the form of Akasha now manifests in the form of Vayu. Ishvara who is in the form of now Vayu alone manifests in the form of Agni. That is how you have to understand. Not Akasha transforms into Vayu and Vayu transforms into Agni. That is of not use to us. So from that Vayu, that is Brahman, is born Agni. So all these are subtle elements that undergo the process of grossification later, we'll see. And then from fire, water is born, all subtle. And Agnehe Apaha. Apaha means water. And that is a plural word, I have told you. And it's even a feminine word also. Apaha is a feminine word, and it has only plural form. So as such it should be waters, but we say water. And if you want other word, it will be jalam, udakam, etc. From fire, the jalam. That's how I have mentioned jalam. So this is way you can say jalam is mentioned. Jalam is born. So this is how we have to see. So Ishvara, who is in the form of a Agni, is now is manifest in the form of Jalam. Ishvara, who is in the form of a Jalam, alone manifest in the form of Prithvi. And this is how Ishvara has manifested in the form of first 5 basic elements. And those 5 basic elements basically are manifestation from Maya. In that also, Maya alone manifests. And so, since the Maya is Trigunatmika, and therefore all the 5 basic elements, each one also possesses 3 gunas. Because Karya Karana Gunaha Karya Anuvartante. This is the rule. The attributes, and the effect will inhere the qualities of the cause. That will be there. And so Maya has 3 qualities, Sattva, Rajas, Tamo, Gunatmika in an unmanifest condition, and they are going to manifest, these 3 gunas also are going to manifest in the form of Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa and Prithvi. So each element will have 3 qualities. That also is there, SRT. So it is SRT. SRT, Sattva, Rajas and Tamo Guna. Now let's go ahead. Because from the Sattvic aspect, what is born, from Rajas aspect, what is born, from Tamas aspect, what is born, that has been told now. But these are the very basic elements, subtle elements. So from the Sattvic aspect of these 5 subtle elements come the subtle sense organs. What is born of the subtle elements is subtle part, and therefore subtle sense organs. Now basically we are going to see the various components of the subtle body. We have already seen subtle body has 19 components like that. So all various parts are born from which elements and what aspect of the basic elements. Well, that has been told now. So basically now the creation of the subtle body only we are describing from the subtle elements. And in that subtle elements also each element has 3 gunas. So from Sattvic aspect something will be born, from Rajas aspect something is born, from Tamas aspect something is born. So, etesham panchatattvanam madhye akashasya Satvikamshat Shrotrendriya Sambhutam. This text, Tattvabodha text. Etesham Panchatattvanam Madhye. This is called Nirdharana Shashti. Nirdharana Shashti means among. Like that. Phalanam Madhye Amraha Shresthaha. Like that. Phalanam Madhye. We have to know, various types of vibhaktis are there. And it has its own usage. Shashti is generally used for sambandha, relationship, Shashti Vibhakti. But this is a special usage. It's called Nirdharana Shashti. Nirdharana means you are ascertaining something in the group, either good, bad, whatever. So, Etesham Panchatattvanam Madhye, Panchatattvanam, it's a definitely Ramana, like it's a Shashti. Among these 5 elements, what? Akashasya. So, of the space, Satvikamshat Shrotrendriya Sambhutam. So, of the space, what is of the space? Satvikamshat. So, from the Satvikamshat, Ramat, from the Satvik aspect of the space, Sambhutam is born what? Shrotrendriyam. So, is born the organ of hearing. Then Vayoho, so you can see here in the chart it is already mentioned. You see the Akasha has, under that there is SRT. And so from the Satvikamsha of the Akasha, I have written is organ of hearing. If you remember, we have seen this, the creation is in the form of 24 aspects, right? So I have given it the first number. So we will be totally counting also 24 will be there. Anyway, then Vayoho Satvikamsha Tvagindriya Sambhutam. So then if you go to Vayu then see under that there is a Satvikamsha and from that Tvagindriya Sambhutam, organ of touch is born. From Akasha Satvikamsha and Jnanendriya will be born from Sattva, definitely. That's how it is. From Sattva, Jnanendriyas will be born. From Rajoguna, Karmendriya will be born. Because Karmendriya has to perform activity. And therefore Rajoguna represent activity. Sattva aspect represent Jnanam. And therefore Jnanendriyas are born of Satvikamsha. Then the Karmendriyas, organs of activity, etc., actions, etc., are definitely born of Rajoguna. So this is how it is. So Vayoho Satvikamsha Tvagindriya Sambhutam. From the Satvikamsha of this Vayu, definitely this organ of touch is born. We'll see that what it wants to convey. Agnehe Satvikamsha Chakshurindriya Sambhutam. From the Satvik aspect of the fire, then what is born? Organ of sight, that is eye, is born. Please understand, we are all discussing at a very subtle aspect. So this is a part of the gross body. You can understand very well. We are talking about the senses, which is a part of the subtle body. That subtle body, the components of the subtle body are born of the subtle elements. So then Jalasya Satvikamshat Rasanendriya Sambhutam. So from Satvik aspect of the Jalam, water is born the organ of taste, the tongue, But tongue means not gross, you should understand that. Prithivyaha Satvikamshat Granendriya Sambhutam. So from the Satvik aspect of the earth, the organ of smell is born, the nose is born. So the sense of hearing is a part of a subtle body. So it is not the physical ear, means like this lobe, earlobe, etc. That is a part of the gross body. It will be born from the gross element. And it is Sattva aspect of the Sukshma Bhuta, that is Akasha. And of course, therefore, but then the subtle aspects, whenever anything which is the Sukshma Sharira, when it is born, at the same time it will reflect consciousness immediately. Like as the water arises in a bucket, as you fill up the water in bucket, in the open, immediately the sun reflection will be there, immediately. And like the same way as the mirror is born, let's say, as the mirror is made in the open, immediately it will start reflecting sun. Same way. So as even these subtle aspects of the subtle body are born, immediately starts reflecting consciousness, because consciousness is all pervading, and basically that is Brahman. Brahman is already right there, right? Maya alone is transforming, and Maya is non-separate from the Brahman. So Brahman starts immediately reflecting into, because Brahman is right there, and that Brahman with Maya alone is transforming into various parts. So Brahman being right there, whatever transformation takes place from the Maya, immediately Brahman reflects there. So, and because this is why Swamiji reflection? Because this sattva aspect. Therefore, it depends upon the material from which material you make. You make even a brick, but it will not reflect sun. Sunlight is reflected, it is one thing. Sun is not reflected. And definitely, and the mirror is born, well, sun also is reflected along with the sunlight. And therefore, this is how the difference in material only. So this is born of the sattvic amsha, and therefore it will reflect in the consciousness. Finer material, we should say like that. It's a finer. But why you are using material? Because Maya means a material, but Maya means but you are saying it is as good as not there. Yeah, whatever is there. It is inexplicable. Because you say the universe is there, and therefore you must be some material. So I say Maya is a material. If you say there is no universe, but Brahman is there, I say then there is no Maya. So this is how it is. It will go on. It will go on like this. I mean, this is you, because you say the effect is there, then definitely material cause, I have to tell you what is the material cause of it. Because universe is a creation, and then there must be a material out of which the creation takes place. Otherwise, how will the creation take place? Any creation requires a material cause. Anyway, but Swamiji, it requires an efficient cause. Yeah, but then that is there. Brahman with Maya, of course, becomes a efficient cause, because Brahman is Brahman ultimately. Brahman with Maya. Ishvara has Sarvajñatvam. Ishvara is a Sarva Shaktiman. So Brahman with Maya, that is Ishvara, is an efficient cause. And Maya itself is a material cause. Because Maya transforms. That we have seen already. And even in the material cause, there is no transformation in material as such. Only the states differ. Unmanifest, manifest. Please understand that. All the creation which I have given you in the chart is just a manifestation. Please understand. It is just a manifestation. It's right there in the unmanifest condition, that is Maya. Anyway, so the Sukshma Sharira reflects this consciousness, and therefore there is life. And of course, prana is responsible, but prana also function. Prana makes the body alive, that is there. But prana also functions in presence of this consciousness. Prana as though becomes enlivened and starts functioning. And therefore, and the prana makes the gross body alive. That's a different issue, but this is how it is possible. And so, sentiency will be there definitely, because the Chetana, it is called Chetana. I mean, don't take gross body because I am putting hand like this, but basically, the subtle body first becomes sentient. And everything, because of the reflection of the consciousness. That's how Shrotrasya Shrotram Manaso Manoyat Vachoha Vacham Pranasya Prana. In Kenopanishad, ultimately to indicate Atma, Atma is defined like this. It's Shrotrasya Shrotram is Atma. Pranasya Prana, Atma. In presence of consciousness, well, the prana itself becomes conscious. But here we are right now talking about the sense organs. And so this is basically material, and the material is capable of reflecting consciousness, and that to finer material born of sattvic amsha. And so we use the word reflect here, but don't think that way, that there is real kind of a consciousness is like a sun, and this is born, and consciousness is like sun and getting reflect. This is all just it's a model. Don't think that there is some physical phenomena of reflecting and etc. Don't think that way. Since you find the sense organs are capable of experiencing the different objects, then definitely we have to take them conscious. Anything which is capable of experiencing is a conscious entity. Because the inner thing cannot experience anything. This cannot experience anything. Right? It cannot experience anything. But subtle body, well, it is able to experience, because this is all, I mean, the Chakshurindriya is able to experience color, etc. in the creation. This is able to experience sound, and therefore, well, then definitely we will have to take them as a conscious entity. But they are basically made from the Maya. Maya itself is a inert entity, and therefore Brahman alone is a consciousness. Maya is non-separate from that, of course, and therefore, basically, therefore we have to take the sense organs, which are manifestation of Maya. Well, if they are conscious, definitely the consciousness must be getting reflected. This is how we bring this idea of Tattvabodha, Abhasvada, etc. All is due to this, in order to explain how the sense organs and in general the subtle body is conscious. So, to the Tvak, the sense of touch, it is also born of Sattvic aspect of the Vayu, and that is subtle element, Tattvabodha. And then from Sattvic aspect of the Agni, the sense organ of sight, from the Sattvic aspect of the subtle element of water is born. So all subtle, not available for perception, because no grossification has taken place. That's the last part. So all you have to consider at the subtler level, in which the sense organs cannot objectify all these elements, being they are very basic elements, born directly from the Maya. Very subtle. So from the Sattvic aspect of the subtle element of Prithvi, there is Granendriya, the sense of smell is born. So this is how Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Jalam and Prithvi, the Sattvic aspect of that, each one has given rise to 5 sense organs, through which we definitely perceive. Okay. Now, and there is a very interesting order here. Akashad Vayuhu, Vayuhu Agnihi, Agnihi Apaha, etc. So when Shruti gives this order, from Akasha Vayu is born, from Vayu Agni is born, etc. Well, there should be some meaning in it. And so we will have to see that. So if you analyze, well, these elements, as you know them in gross form, tangible form, well, you will find that space is a very subtle, very special element. In that space has no form, that in a gross part I am saying. The gross space which you are, having in your front, it doesn't have a form, it doesn't have a smell, it doesn't have a taste, it doesn't have a touch. And still the Akasha or the space is considered as an element. Then it should have some special attribute for it, distinguishing quality, or it should have. Okay, then Shruti says okay. So let's say this Akasha is connected to a Shrotrendriya. And so it is not that the space has a quality of the sound, because but the Shrotrendriya has a connection to the space. That much we know also. The Shrotrendriya has a connection to the space. And so since there is a connection between the sense of hearing and Akasha, we will say Shrotrendriya is born of Akasha. That's how they have a connection. And so now understand this. Shrotrendriya, which is born of the subtle element space, subtle element of space, will be able to objectify the space. That's how we should tell. This is how I am going to describe. Because see, any sense organ, it is able to objectify a particular thing. Like this Chakshurindriya is there. Eyes are basically able to objectify the color in a gross form. But the color, Rupa. Therefore, this Chakshurindriya must be born of Agni Tattvam, which has a Rupam as a quality. Could you follow what I am saying? Since this Chakshuru, which is able to objectify, which is able to perceive the color or the Rupam, form, etc., then definitely this Chakshurindriya must be born of an element which has a distinguishing quality called Rupam. And therefore, this is how we connect. Could you follow? And then this is same way like Vayu. Now let's go to Vayu. You will understand it. There is not a difficulty. Vayu has just one, not one, but two qualities that we will be able to see only in a gross form, not in a subtle aspect. But we can understand that in a gross form, the Vayu has two qualities which you can experience. Vayu has basically a sound also when it blows. Vayu has a touch also in a gross form. And therefore, definitely, so from there we can understand that in a basic elements also, which is subtle element, Vayu must have two qualities. Akasha has a very distinguishing quality. But it is basically Akasha has a distinguishing quality called sound. We will not be able to tell. Please understand that. Only Shrotrendriya is able to hear the sound, and sound is related to Akasha. Therefore, we say the Shrotrendriya must be related to Akasha. This is how we understand. So, Vayu is connected to the sense of touch, Sparshendriya. And because Vayu is the object of touch, right? You will not see the Vayu. You will only feel the Vayu, right? You will have a touch of Vayu. And since the Sparshendriya, if the Sparshendriya can objectify the gross Vayu, the Sparshendriya must be born of the element Vayu. Which aspect? Sattvic aspect. That is for sure. This is how we have to see. So Vayu is born of a Sattvic aspect of the the sense of touch, Sparshendriya, is born of the Sattvic aspect of the Vayu. How can you say that way? Because this Sparshendriya is able to objectify the Vayu through the touch. Could you follow? This is how it is. So that is how we connect this way. So basically the sense of touch is connected to Vayu, basic element Vayu, because it is able to objectify the gross Vayu. So all these are connected, means all these sense organs are connected because the elements outside, which are grossified from the subtle elements, they are able to objectify. Each sense organ is able to objectify a particular element in a gross form, so that we can understand that that must have been born from that element alone, from the sattvic aspect of that element. So from the subtle element is born a given sense organ which is connected to the corresponding gross element. So this is how, why we are talking all these kind of things, because I want to convey ultimately that you, the individual, is all the time connected to the samashti. The Vyashti is connected to the samashti. That is why. And that samashti means what? Ishvara. That is how. That's what I started with. Ultimately, everything is manifestation of Ishvara, and therefore you are all the time connected to Ishvara. That gives a great solace. When I find that I am connected to a very big entity, which is very powerful, I am connected. I have some connection. I am related to that, and very close relationship with that one which is very capable, which is able to bring a change in my life. It can bring a change in my life, definitely. Like a child, a child is connected to the parents. In the child's eye, in the child's mind, if it is connected to the parents, well, its psychology will remain better. If something happens and parents, suppose when both are working, what happens is, and the child is always left at home with somebody, some caretaker, etc. That child's psychology is not good at all. Or sometimes mothers, when they are so busy in the work, and child is crying, child wants that I should be in a lap of mother. But then mother cannot take, and child keeps on crying. This whole thing affects the mother, affects the child. So please understand this. Basically, the subtle part, which we are talking, subtle body, etc., the various parts of the subtle body, which are right here in this individual. and that is all the time connected to the samashti. That's how we have to understand. So we are connected to the external world in this way. Well, external world which is the samashti, and that is Ishvara. This is also Ishvara's manifestation. Pujya Swamiji says Ishvara's manifestation. The every subtle aspect is Ishvara's manifestation. So here all this right now, the sense organs here itself is a manifestation of Ishvara. And outside also what is there is Ishvara. And therefore basically, even if you take as an individual, well, you are all the time in the lap of Ishvara. That is how it's a very, very big thing. Very big thing. Anyway, next we come to Agni, fire. That's the first element which has a form. Vayu does not have a form. Vayu can be, definitely you can feel it through the sense organ, and that is organ of touch, basically, sense of touch. But Agni has a form, right? And so it is more gross than Akasha and Vayu. So what happens? Akasha basically is connected to the organ of hearing, and so that is how we connect with the sound. Then Vayu has basically sound and touch, little grosser. Two attributes are there. Two distinguishing qualities are there. Not distinguishing quality is basically one, that is touch, its own quality. And it has a quality of sound because it is born of the Akasha. So therefore Karana Gunaha Karya Anuvartante. So basically, the Vayu has the two qualities. One distinguishing quality of its own, and the other quality which has come from the Akasha, because it is born from Akasha. So Vayu has two qualities, and that is sound and touch. Now Agni, it has a one distinguishing quality called form, Rupam, and two qualities of the Vayu, because it is born from Vayu. So basically Vayu has two qualities. So those two qualities are present in Agni, and Agni has its own quality, distinguishing quality or the attribute, that is form. And so that is how, so the third quality of its own also has been added. So it has become a little more gross. Compared to Akasha, Vayu is little gross. Compared to Vayu, the Agni is very gross. And therefore, this is gross. But still they are subtle, please understand. But if the subtle are subtle, and therefore in the subtle they are gross, we have to say. But you can understand very well that after the even grossification, you can see very well that in gross elements like Akasha, Vayu, etc., you will find the Akasha is subtler than the Vayu, and Vayu is subtler than the even Agni. Agni has a form. That's the first element which has a form, even in a gross form. So Agni is available for the senses of sound and touch, right? And like Vayu, and it's also available for the sense of sight. So definitely it must have three gunas, because Vayu has two qualities, and available for the sense of touch. Vayu is available for the sense of touch, and Vayu is also available for the sense of hearing. And therefore, if any object, any element, let's say, available for many sense organs, then you should understand it is becoming grosser and grosser. More definitely distinguishing qualities are added into that, so that it is available for the senses. So as such as a space we have connected to the sound, and then now from the Akasha Vayu is born. So Vayu has one more quality of its own. Then it is that quality is taken that quality has been taken by a particular sense organ called Granendriya, that is Sparsha. So Vayu cannot be seen, it can be only inferred, but fire can be seen in a gross form, I am saying. So definitely we will have to think that definitely, because somebody was asking me, why from Akasha fire is born, why don't we say that? Why do you say from Vayu the fire is born? Well, we say because whatever the qualities Vayu has, those qualities are present in the fire. At the same time, fire has its own quality. and that is form. And therefore, definitely from Akasha, fire is not born, because Akasha has just one quality, even if you want to call sound. And then fire has three qualities. Then how come the third quality? From where we have to bring, right? So if a fire has three qualities, it must be from born of the Vayu, which has two qualities and one quality of its own. Could you follow what I am saying? And therefore, this is a very, very beautiful model. And more attributes are added, it becomes grosser and grosser, even in the subtle elements. Anyway, so that is the fire can be seen. And so that is also the reason because it's a first manifestation of the Ishvara. And therefore, we'll have to, we worship always Ishvara in the form of fire, because that's the first manifestation of Ishvara, which you can see. Vayu you cannot see, Akasha also you cannot see. And so, if Bhagavan has to be given a form for worship, this is the first form in which you can invoke Ishvara, because it's ultimately Ishvara's manifestation. So, to invoke any deity, even, we light up a lamp and we say that I invoke a particular devata in this lamp. And even in the fire also, even in the yajna, the ritual also, we invoke any devata in the fire, because ultimately Ishvara has its first manifestation. So the lamp becomes an altar of worship. So there is a Deepa Puja, very common in Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Anyway, and then Agni, well, definitely it has, we say it is three qualities, and that is, the sound, then the touch. Agni has a sound, definitely, when it really a conflagration, especially a forest fire and all, there is a sound also of the fire. And it has definitely a hot touch also, and it has a form also. There are three things. Now, Agnehe Apaha, so Jalam. So the water must have now four qualities, because three qualities have come from the Agni, and of its own quality. That is taste. So water can be heard, water can be touched, water can be seen, and it can be tasted also. So people say water is tasteless, but that is the taste, and that's a standard from which we determine all other taste. So that's a standard, that's a measuring rod. Compared to that, all other things we will evaluate. Something is salty, something is bitter, something is sweet, etc. And so the standard taste is a taste of water. That is, so water has a taste. You may call it as a tasteless, even though people call it as this is a good water and salty water and this water, but basically it is tasteless water. Anyway, and what is born? Well, Rasanendriya is born. From fire, what is born? Well, from fire, basically eye, the sense organ, it is organ of basically seeing, is born. And from water, definitely Rasanendriya is born, that is the tongue is born. And it has no order. Anyway, then all forms of smell, even if they are found in water, are from the earth. So the modern science also confirms this. All aromatic molecules, wherever the smell, even in the air also, if there is a smell, these are basically aromatic molecules floating. So the original sex derivatives are from earth alone. That is why earth is defined as a Gandhavati Prithvi. Gandhavati means which possesses Gandham. Gandham means smell. So Prithvi has this special quality of smell in addition to everything else. Well, everything else means what? Well, this sound, touch, sight, taste, everything. And therefore, from the sattvic aspect of the Prithvi, well, definitely this organ of smell is gone. So all this we have, I think, covered. And so all five sense organs can operate successfully with reference to this earth. Earth is so gross that all the sense organ can make it an object in gross form, of course. And therefore, basically it must have all the gunas. So it because you can hear the sound of earth, especially in earthquake. You can see the earth. You can taste the earth. We don't taste, but then you can taste the earth. The children used to eat the clay, Whenever we were the children, when they play outside, because I think the calcium deficiency, or I don't know, whatever, but they have a natural tendency to eat the clay, and even including our Bhagavan Krishna also, Mrut Bhakshanam. So he did that. He lied also for that I have not eaten, etc. to Yashoda. Anyway, so earthquake, we will see the sound also, you will hear it, I mean. So it is available for touch, it's available for sight, it's available for taste, and it's available for the sense of smell also. So the grossest of the element is earth, well, Prithvi. Of course, we will be able to tell all that earth is grossest when it comes into a gross form, right? These are very subtle elements. But in subtle elements also, as the gunas are added, and then definitely it becomes grosser and grosser. So this is how we have to see. So the earth, basically it can become an object of knowledge for all the 5 sense organs. So it must have all the 5 qualities of basic elements, and that's how the Prithvi is made last. From Akasha, Vayu is made. From Vayu, Agni is made. From Agni, Jalam is made, and Jalam, this earth is created. Earth is born. Now, so this part is over. From the sattvic aspect, all these sense organs are born of all the 5 basic elements. And the elements themselves are born also. We have seen how the 5 elements have come. That is also born from the Maya. So, and Maya along with the Brahman manifest in the form of Akasha, manifest in the form of Vayu, and then the Vayu, which is a manifest form of Ishvara. Well, basically from that Agni is born, from that Jalam is born, from that Prithvi is born. All 5 basic elements are manifestation of Ishvara. And then a sattvic aspect of this 5 elements, which are nothing but Ishvara, these 5 sense organs are born. So 5 sense organs are manifestation of Ishvara, which is these 5 sense organs are the aspects of the subtle body. So the subtle body, every subtle body in each individual, in each living being, wherever right now it is there, all is manifestation of Ishvara alone. We have to see that. Anyway, now we'll talk about Antakaranam, creation and the nature of the mind. So the 5 sense organs gather these 5 sense objects, and then definitely this the data the sense organ get of the sense objects, where do they go inside? They all are going to a one center, and definitely that is the mind. So the mind is born of basically the total sattvic aspect of the 5 elements. From each sattvic aspect, a particular organ is born. Like from sattvic aspect of the Akasha, organ of hearing is born. From sattvic aspect of the Vayu, definitely organ of touch is born, etc. But ultimately, sense organ gathers data of the sense objects. They all go to one place in the body, and that is the mind. And therefore, definitely, the mind must be born of total sattvic aspect of 5 elements. That has been told in Tattvabodha. Etesham panchatattvanam samashti sattvikamshat mano buddhi ahankara chitta antakaranani sambhutani. Etesham panchatattvanam samashti. Samashti means total. Samashti sattvikamshat. Sattvikamshat ramat. So from the total sattvic aspect of this etesham panchatattvanam, from the total sattvic aspect of these 5 elements are born what? The manaha, that is mind, buddhi, intellect, and then ahankara, that is ego, and chittam, that is memory or recollection. they all are born, which are nothing but antakarana, they are the inner instruments. Karanam means instrument, antah means inner. They are inner instruments. That is one mind alone, but as per the, the function, the same mind is defined in terms of 4 functions, and that is called manaha, buddhihi, chitta and ahankara. This is fourfold faculty of thinking that is born of the sattvic aspect of all 5 elements. And so this, how will you say the mind is born of the total sattvic aspect of these 5 basic elements? So then there is an example for that. Suppose somebody says, look at this rose. And definitely when you hear, bring in the word rose, and your eyes also see the rose, right? So 2 organs are already involved. You have hear the word, look at the rose, and then your eyes see the rose. Both are involved. And if you see the object that called rose, and you make a conclusion, yeah, this is a rose. But these days, even if you see the rose, there is maybe a doubt that whether this rose is real or not, because nowadays they make out of plastic also some material which appears as though it's real, and therefore since you have doubt, you will touch it also. So it has now, the rose has become an object for the 3rd sense organ called sense of touch, right? So first here you have heard rose, and you have seen. So 2 organs are already involved, and now you are touching that object rose. So definitely it has become an object of touch also. And once you touch it, there you know it, yeah, it's a real rose. And so every sense organ is bringing a data. The sense organ of hearing has brought a data, sense organ of eyes have brought a data, and then the sense organ of touch, that also, the organ of touch, the sense organ of touch, it is not perfect to tell, organ of touch, well, definitely it has brought a data. All the 3 data have gone to one particular place inside. And and then you are so sure that it is real, you start eating it also, because generally it is edible, the leaves of it, petals rather, so edible. So these 5 sense organs basically have told you that it is rose. So all organs, you can, through all organs, all the data from different sense organs go to a particular place in a mind, and so you decide that it is a rose. So definitely this mind must be made up of all the sattvic aspect, all the total, the total sattvic aspect of these 5 elements. They go to this one particular place. We call it as a antakaran. It's an inner instrument. So that is also part of the subtle body. Please remember that. And that is also a manifestation of Ishvara. So if you want to appreciate Ishvara in form of orders, definitely you have to appreciate in this way. So the sense organs are basically manifestation of Ishvara. Even the mind also is manifestation of Ishvara. And which way you have to go? Well, Ishvara alone manifests in the form of 5 subtle elements, and then from the sattvic aspect of every element, sense organs are born, different sense organs are born, and from the total sattvic aspect of the all basic elements, mind also is born. So ultimately Ishvara alone manifesting in this form of subtle body. Each subtle body, or we can say Ishvara alone is manifesting in the form of subtle world, right? Subtle world. That is how Sukshma Prapancha Abhimani Chaitanyam is called Hiranya Garbha. From Ishvara alone manifest. Ishvara means just, Maya, Brahman along with the Maya. The Maya, which has a being in Brahman, which is called Ishvara, alone manifest in the form of the first manifestation, subtle elements. And from the subtle, so that itself is a Sukshma Prapancha. That Sukshma Prapancha Abhimani is Hiranyagarbha or Brahma. In Purana it is called Brahma. So Ishvara alone manifests in the form of a Brahma. That is how it has been told even in Bhagavatam also. From Narayana's navel, the Brahmaji is born. So this is how it is. So Ishvara alone manifests in the form of a Hiranyagarbha or a Brahma. And then it again manifests in the form of a gross elements. Anyway, so this is after grossification. That is how it is. But this is how we are seeing how the entire Sukshma Prapancha is born. And the Brahman is right there. Right? This is just a transformation of a Maya. Just a manifestation of a Maya. But ultimately Maya has its being in Brahman, non-separate from Brahman. And therefore Brahman, which is identified with the entire subtle Prapancha, is called Brahma. And from that this creation, which you see as in form of a gross creation, has come. So then Brahma alone manifests. Brahmaji becomes a creator. And he alone manifests in the form of a creation, being a abhinna nimitta upadana karana. This is how, so he alone manifests in the form of a Virat Purusha or a Vishwarupa. That is called Purusha in Veda. So that's how Purusha Suktam is there. So in fact, so this basically Antakaranam also is a manifestation of the total sattvic aspect of these basic elements. And and then the function of the fourfold faculty. And it is said, Sankalpa Vikalpatmakam Manaha Nishchayatmika Buddhihi Ahankarta Ahankritihi Chintana Kartru Chittam. So we are now the function of this one inner instrument by which we are giving its four names. It's been told. So first thing is Sankalpa Vikalpatmakam Manaha. So if you want a translation, of course, is there. Sankalpa Vikalpatmakam Manaha, well, it has been told. Well, decision followed by doubt is the nature of the mind. So first doubt and then decision. So then it is nature of the mind. Then resolve ascertainment is the nature of intellect. And then I am the doer. This kind of a sense is called ego. And Chittam is nothing but the thinking process in keeping with what has gone by. I mean memory, recollection, etc. So this is, so what are Sankalpa Vikalpa? Well, this is flower, a rose, a real rose. This is Sankalpa. And then a question arises. Is it a real rose? So this is called Vikalpa. Yes, I think it is a real rose. Sankalpa. How can you be so sure? Vikalpa. I can be sure. Sankalpa. Can I be so sure? Vikalpa. This is how. This is all mind. Sankalpa Vikalpatmakam Manaha. The whole process, the various thoughts actually. So this whole process is called Manaha, mind. So starting point is always we call Sankalpa. And then any doubt against that is called Vikalpa. So Samshayatmika Antakarana Vrittihi Manaha. This is how it has been told. Samshayatmika, which is in the form of a Samshaya, doubt. That kind of a vritti, that kind of a Antakarana vritti, that kind of a mode of a mind is called mind. And well, this is a process of thinking in which there is a vacillation, like this kind of a thing will be there. Now this is very common, especially our mind is so much disturbed and it has gone to some place and we are doing some activity, and like let's say we are going out and we have locked the door, but if we go a little ahead and then since our mind was not there, we always have that doubt. So did I lock the door? Yes, I lock it. That's how. So did I lock the door? That question has arisen. Yes, I locked the door. Sankalpa. I don't think so. I have locked. Vikalpa. Then you just turn towards the house. You are on the road especially, but you turn towards the road. Turn towards the, house. And then you stop. Yeah, but I think I have locked the door. Sankalpa. No, let me check it because I am not sure. Before few days also it remained open. So that is Vikalpa. And then you go and lock the door. But still your mind is so disturbed that even if you return, still it can again arise. Oh, did I lock the door or not? This kind of a thing. So it goes on and on. So people do varieties of the activities, but if their mind is not there behind, this kind of a thing will always arise. First thing arises, Yeah, I lock the door means it is sankalpa, but if a doubt arises against that, it is vikalpa. So after checking, you come out and wonder also, did I check properly or not? That kind of a thing also can arise. This is another problem. So since the mind is not there when we are doing the things, then therefore not consciously done, I mean. So this is, half of our waking state is spent like this. Half of our day is spent like this. Sankalpa vikalpa, sankalpa vikalpa, sankalpa vikalpa. Goes on and on. And this is how the mind works, of course. And not only for perception, on the conclusions what was done, for emotions also, what we say, the seat of emotion is basically the mind. So emotions can be brought under the mind. Then vrittis that take place with the sensory perception, that is also mind. Like, see, if I bring the object in front and then I contact it, right? Eyes contact it. And then accordingly the mind undergoes a transformation. There will be a vritti, there will be a thought form of a mind or pertaining to this. So we call it as a clip thought. So that clip thought is mind, that's all. When you say it is clip, that's intellect. But a sense organ, it brings a data to the mind. Here a sense organ called eye. Eye brings the data to the mind, and mind transforms into this clip thought. That is mind, that's all. So a relevant change which occurs in the mind when you see something, when you hear something, that is called the mind. That has to take place only in the mind, we say. And then we recognize, yeah, this is rose, or this is that sound. That is all intellect. So nishayatmika antakarana vrittihi buddhihi. It is same mind, but it assumes a form of a decision now. Only there is one antakaran, one inner instrument, but the function changes. Then definitely we call it as a now buddhi. Now it is in the mode of a decision, so we call it a resolution, knowing. Then we call it as a buddhi. Even right now you are listening to me, it is buddhi. Please understand this. But if that could be other thing also. What Swamiji is telling me, this thing, but I think this is not that. No, but he is telling and teaching since many years. I think he is telling right thing. But I have heard this, then it is mine. But as you are listening to me and you are knowing, you are resolving, there is a resolution, there is a decision, yeah, this is like that, this is like that, this is like that, that is buddhi. So basically when a person listens to like a teacher and etc., at that time, a particular mode of antakaranam is called buddhi. So resolution of a perception also is buddhi. Whereas whenever there is a doubt, it is mana, but when you decide, then definitely it is buddhi. Any deliberate inquiry which we are doing right now, that is also buddhi. Analyzing what is going on is the operation of the buddhi, and and the data of course has been brought to the mind. At that time it is mind, and then you decide from the data is buddhi. So we hear the words, they reach to the mind, and then you decide, yeah, it is the sound of so and so Swami, and that is the meaning of the words, etc. All this is buddhi. So it's a processing. Processing takes place in the buddhi. Anyway, this is just a functional difference between mana and buddhi. It's just one antakaranam, but functional difference. Aham karta, aham kritihi. The one who says, I am the doer. Well, this is my mind, this is my body, this is my action, this is my lot, all this. So one who owns up the thing, well, that is, we call it here right now, we call it subject. It's also a special thought, nothing else. That's how it is being included in the inner instrument. Well, it's a special thought. Why special? Because it owns up everything. Other thoughts are there, but they don't own up everything. Like this is rose thought. This is a clip thought. Then this is clip. Here this thought is not owning up the clip, but this is my clip. Well, that thought is pertaining to the, that kind of a thought is a special thought which owns up the thing. Other thoughts are variable, but depending upon the objects, etc. But one who owns up them is the same. It is also changing. Ahankara also is changing. We have already seen that. But the nucleus is basically I am this, or this is mine, this is mine, this is mine, etc. Either. So ahankarta, ahankritihi. I am the doer, or I am body, I am this, I am that, or this is mine, this is etc. Is all this kind of a thought belongs to ahankara, ego. And the last one is chittam. So another function. So the author defines as a chintana kartru chittam, one who does the chintanam. And here chintanam means recollection. Basically from the past experience, when the past experience is recollected, it's a different process altogether. And then it is basically memory. So that is chittam. Of course, there are many things are there. Then intuition also should be included somewhere. And so intuition is, has to be included in this fourfold antakranam that constitutes our thinking faculty. And now it depends. There are several modes. In one of the four, you will have to accommodate. Anyway, but ego, Pujya Swamiji believes that under ego, this unconscious and subconscious has to be included in ego, etc. But we feel that this chittam also has a part of unconscious also. But anyway, this is how basically these are the main four functions we should know. Now, so this is how we have completed. Of course, now the devatas are left over, presiding deities of the mental functions are left over. That we'll see tomorrow. And then Rajas aspect we will start discussing. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.